Welcome. Today is Tuesday, June 16th, and we have the pleasure of having Nick Bogdanovich, Director of Trading for William Hill US. Nick, thanks for joining us, and we really appreciate you being an advocate of gaming today for all these years.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Thoroughly enjoyed the publication. Looking forward to the interview.
Oh, great. Thanks. Start with a brief background. Where are you from, and how did you eventually make it into this business?
Yeah, born and raised in Las Vegas, native. Absolutely love the town. Seen it go from a very tiny one to insanely large. Went to Western High School, then I went to Idaho for college. Came back to town, had no idea what I wanted to do. Went to writing tickets at the Sands in 1986, and basically just worked my way up the ladder.
Gotcha. I think we're pretty close in age, or at least in the similar generation. And I arrived here in 1992, and I believe at that time, or around that time, you were with Binion's Horseshoe.
I was definitely one of my favorite jobs of all time. It was the Wild West back then. Enormous action. And yeah, we saw some incredible things during that time, but fun run at Binion's for sure.
You must have great stories. I was going to say their reputation for taking any bet was legendary. And I used to come down because I was in the restaurant business before this, and I used to check out that deli that was right across from the sports book down there.
Yeah, the deli was actually right in the sports book, so ate many a brisket there. But yeah, Binion's was great. Jack was a great boss. Basically took whatever anyone brought to the counter. He never played the red board, and I met all the legendary poker players back in the day. So yeah, it was outstanding job.
Yeah, and I used to come down to Binion's. A friend told me about the dollar craps with 100 times odds. I don't know if I played it. Oh, wait, something's wrong with my – no. I was down there quite a bit and spent some times at those craps tables.
Yeah, no, there was nonstop action on both sides of there was an east and a west side, nonstop action. Just goes to show you that a joint can make it just on gambling. Nowadays, the corporations are making it on, nightclubs, hotel fees, things of that nature. It's sort of split evenly now, a third each way. But back then, that was 100% a gambling joint.
Yeah. And fast forward to today, and what's obviously a vastly different landscape. You've been at William Hill for 8 years now, and you oversee operations in different jurisdictions. What are your biggest challenges day to day with this juggle?
Yeah, a lot of challenges. I mean, I am a bookmaker by trade, and that's all I'd like to do is see bets, take bets, move bets. And now my biggest challenge is, we got a staff of 60 traders now. So, that's, a lot of other things going to this job now. Scheduling, hiring, training, regulatory things. So a lot of things on my plate, but I do prefer the bookmaking side of it. There's no question that's my favorite part. The weekends, I live for the weekends because it's just the action on the weekends.
Sure. And in some other interviews, you mentioned this table tennis phenomenon. Which market was it most heavy?
Yeah, I mean, Nevada, we're the king of Nevada. We got 120 retail outlets, and our mobile kills it here. So it was huge in Nevada, but Jersey did well, and Iowa's done well too. So, and from what I understand, from here to China, all the bookmakers have written a lot of business on the Russian ping pong. So everyone I've talked to has done a tremendous amount of business to it.
And would you say it's just because there was a lack of content and people needed something to bet on?
I would say that was probably it. But then once they got hooked on it, the matches are over in 20, 25 minutes. So, you got instant gratification, and there's 100 matches a day. So you could make 8, 9, 10 team parlays, and same guy would be playing 4 or 5 times a day. So you might play on him 4 or 5 times or against him 4 or 5 times. And, you just get used to it day after day, and you sort of get used to the names. And is this guy good in a big favorite role? Is this guy, is he as a small dog? So it's just like anything else. People got used to it and sort of just ran with it.
Gotcha. It's looking like Major League Baseball is a long shot. How much will that impact business this summer?
Well, I mean, we've already missed so much. Usually it's June and July where they got the states to themselves. So, obviously it's going to hurt. I mean, we write a ton of business to Major League Baseball, but I gave up following it just because they've gone back and forth 200 times. So right. I stopped following it. If they play, they play, and if they don't, they don't. Hopefully the NBA will play. Hopefully the hockey will play, and we'll get the makeup of all the tennis and golf majors. But I'm still being positive. I think this fall could be obviously the biggest sports betting of all time if all those events go down like they should.
Right, and that was going to be my follow-up question. Do you think the NBA and NHL can offset a lot of the baseball loss when they come in July?
100%. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, people, it's going to be playoff time, and people are starving for sports. So I think they would make up for the Major League Baseball. But, now NBA's hemming and hawing a little, and, I just hopefully they'll get out there and play. The fans definitely want it.
Sure, sure. I'll follow up with this toward the end here. It's no secret that your senior management team loves horse racing, as do I. And it's a pretty meaningful piece of business at William Hill. Do you guys keep up with the situation regarding the signal situation with Nevada and Churchill Downs?
Yeah, wrong guy to answer. Joe's a big horse racing guy. Paul, who runs Delaware, is a big horse racing guy, and obviously a lot of the management team is. I go to Del Mar once a year, and that's really about the extent of my horse racing. Other than, I follow the big three, Kentucky, Preakness, Belmonts. I don't even get interested in Breeders' Cup just because it's in football and I got a million things I'm doing. So I'm not a big horse racing guy.
Okay, so your teams that you're over are really not involved in that piece of the business?
No, not really. I mean, Paul Bach from Delaware makes the Kentucky Derby Future book that we put out way before anyone else, and we write a ton of business too, and we'll take the bets on that. But as far as following what's going on in the ever decreasing handle of the racing industry, diminishing fields on the West Coast, and the battles on how much tracks are going to take out, I don't follow that whatsoever. I just wish that racing would get a boost and get back to the glory days.
Yeah, well, it's been unique because the handles have been insane with the stoppage in the other sports, but I think it's just a function of people needing something to bet on.
It's very possible. I mean, obviously, that might be a direct correlation with the Russian table tennis. So, I absolutely love going to Del Mar. The day there is fantastic. So, I just wish more younger people would get involved in the sport. Obviously, we know the demographics there.
Yeah, I've gone as well for many years, and I'll certainly miss going because there won't be fans allowed this year, at least at the beginning when they start July 10th. Hey, Nick, thanks so much for doing this. Thanks for your support of gaming today. Thanks to Mike Grotsky for help setting this up, your VP of Marketing. Fantastic. We appreciate the partnership, and best of luck going forward.
Yeah, no question. We definitely enjoy the publication. Hope you guys kill it.
Thanks, Nick.